What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another tutorial video, and in this episode we are going to continue with the final part of how to create Jacek Jeznack portfolio website using HTML CSS and a little bit of JavaScript. And before I start coding, before I start doing anything, I know that it took me so long to build this project, and I'm very sorry and I apologize for the inconvenience of me not providing this tutorial for you guys on time. And I didn't mean to stay that long to build this project for you guys. I know a lot of people have been asking, when am I going to create the final part? When am I going to create the final part? The final part is now right here, and I'm finally happy to build this project with you guys. And I didn't mean to stay that long, like I said, and the reasons why it took me so long was that during those moments I was coughing a lot, so I lost my voice. I couldn't make any tutorial videos, and at the same time I lost focus. I stopped coding for about 2 to 3 months, and when I wanted to work on this project, it was very difficult for me to continue with this project because I already forgot a lot of things. So I had to build bunch of projects in order to get back up, in order to stay back on track. And now that I'm finally back, I'm able to, to convince myself that I can do it for you guys. And like I said, I'm very sorry it took me so long, and I hope that you forgive me. And yeah, basically that's it. And what we are building in this project is the contact me section. We are going to do some JavaScript validation as well. If you want to input a value that is not accepted, you get this message, and every time you click, you get the same message. If your email is not valid, you will get the message that email is not valid. And if you input any value and the email is valid as well, then message sent successfully. And if you go to my Gmail account, down you see a message, blah blah blah. Can you see that? So this is basically what we are doing in this particular video and with this map right here. So I hope that you are excited to start with me, and yeah, we'll get started. But before we actually start coding, I already have another project for you guys. This is a cool full stack portfolio project that I've been working on. It is still under development. And in some couple of weeks time, I'll be done with this project, and I would like to build this project with you guys on YouTube. This project is so cool. It's so amazing. And yeah, it's very cool. It has this amazing theme template. You can switch it all around. You can change the theme. We have the light mode and the dark mode as well, which is very, very, very cool. And I hope you won't miss out on this big project. If you see this gaming section as well, so amazing. To fetch the data, we created these amazing gaming cards. You can search for any games you want. And yeah, I'll be excited to build this project with you guys on YouTube. So make sure that you stay updated. Make sure that you smash that like and subscribe button. I know a lot of people watching this video do not like and subscribe, which doesn't encourage me at all. And I hope you will just leave a like and a comment in order to show your appreciation and your support and your encouragement. And yeah, with that being said, it's still under development. In some couple of weeks time, I'll release the video when I'm done with the project. And yeah, I'll see you around. So now, as for the main reasons why we are building this project, we are going to start working on it. Now I want to show you the project folder. That nothing has changed. It's still the same thing. If you can see all this folder right here, which means you are up to date, and which means we can get started. Yeah, now we're gonna start from the contact me section. But before I start coding, I want to show you that there's nothing much that has changed in our code so far. We still got the same thing, and we're gonna continue from the blog section that we stopped. and start building our contact me section. The same applies to the CSS. And in here, we're gonna start from the contact me section. Same thing with our JavaScript file right here. We're gonna start from here. Nothing much has changed, like I said. And yeah, let's keep beginning. So the first thing that we're gonna have is the contact me section, contact section, and we're still gonna have our contact wrapper. That's another class name, but just follow along. And then we're gonna have our fake big class, and in here we're just gonna put our @sign. And let me just bring this side by side so that you'll be able to see what's going on. Now this is where we stopped. Like I said, this is the original website from Jacek Jeznack, and this is where we stopped. And in here we're just gonna continue from the blog section and build our contact me section. And if you remember, we already added a class of fake big test in our previous tutorial, and in here you can see that we have stylings for these classes already. And it's just gonna be applied to it automatically. So I hope you have that as well. And right after that, we're gonna have our contact form. We're gonna have a form with a class of contact form, and in here we don't need the action. And inside this div, we're gonna have another class of contact heading. Inside this contact heading, we're gonna have the ID with the header, the div with ID with header, and in here we're just gonna have our h2 tag with contact me, like so. And now here it is, we have our h2 with contact me. And if you also remember that we already have some stylings for the header, and yeah, you already have some stylings for the header right here. Whereby we declare the font size, the color, and then the margin bottom, and it will be applied to it automatically. And yeah, so after the div, we're gonna have our p tag, and with some text. Let's just come and copy the original text from this the original website, and just let's paste it right here. Yeah, let me save it. And in here, yeah, we already have a test. Okay, let me format it very well so that let me format it very well. I have an extension. I'm using an extension called the Prettier. So anytime you press Ctrl S, it's gonna save your work, and it's gonna beautify, it's gonna format your code very well, so that you don't have to do it manually. You understand? So right after that, we're gonna have our input. As you can see, now let's start creating the input. So right after this contact heading, we're gonna have a class of from input group. Yeah, I believe that's the class name, from input group. But before we actually have this class of from input group, we're gonna have our from input wrapper. Yeah, like so. And all we're gonna do now is to grab this input and place it right here under this and place it on inside the from input wrapper. Okay, let me just indent it very well. Make sure that it is inside the from input wrapper, the first from input group. Okay, so right after that, we're gonna have our input with type of text. The placeholder is gonna be name. Let me show you quickly that we are doing the input. We are creating the input the form right now. Okay, so we're gonna have a name of name. We're gonna give it a class of name as well, but it doesn't matter if you don't give it a class. We're not gonna use this one anyway, but don't worry, let's just keep coding. And right after that, we're gonna have a span, an empty tag, a span with an empty value. Okay, and this is basically to add the focus on the input, this amazing animation. And yeah, that's it. So next thing that we're gonna have right now is another input group inside our input wrapper, input from group. Okay, forgot to add my dot inside the input wrapper, and we're gonna have our input with a type of email. The name is email. The place order is also email, and in here we're gonna have a class. Yeah, it's necessary. We're gonna have a class of email, and under the input we're gonna have our span with empty value. And yeah, so right under after this form input group, we're gonna have another form input group. Under this form input wrapper, we're gonna have another form input group. Okay, let me just make sure that I hide the dot. Form input group, and in here we're gonna have input tag with text. The name is going to be subject. The name is gonna be subject. The place order is also subject. Subject, we have the class of subject as well. And we're still gonna make sure that we add our tag, span tag with empty value. And right under it, we're still gonna have our input type of text. No, it's not input type, this is text area. Okay, text area. So let's delete it. We're gonna have our text area. We have to delete the ID, the columns, and the rows altogether. The name is gonna be no. Yeah, we're gonna have the type of text, I guess. So we're gonna have a placeholder as well of message, and then we're gonna have a class of text area as well. Okay, so right under this input tag, we're gonna have our span with the empty value. And let me show you what we got so far. And here it is. This is all we got so far. And now we're gonna have to add our div. Okay, we're gonna have our button. We're gonna have our button, and then we're gonna add this map as well. So let's do that. So we're gonna add a button with the type of submit, and then we're gonna add a class. Let me show you. We're gonna add a class of contact. We're gonna have a class of contact button, and then we're gonna add another class as well of submit button, like so. And in here we're gonna have a div. We just want to make sure that we do this amazing button animation. If we were to copy the one that we have here, it's not gonna do the same thing. So we have to make sure that we create a new button and add existing stylings to them. So you know what I mean in a second. Okay, so inside this div we're gonna have a span. Let's just copy what we have already. Let's copy what we have here. Just grab everything inside this div, grab everything, and yeah, just copy it And now let's scroll back down and then remove this div and copy what you've copied so far. Yeah, so this is what we got. And if you can see this thing right here now, we have this contact me, and then we're gonna change the text back to send message. And currently the stylings is not the same as before, and that's because this one is a button and the other one was an anchor tag. Okay, so we added a new class name in order to give it a different stylings, okay, to remove the button, the outline, and all that stuff. Okay, so that is one. So right after the contact form, we're gonna have our Google Map like so, and right under this Google Map we're gonna have our iframe, and for now it's just gonna be an empty value because we have to go to Google and do that. So when the time comes, we're gonna do that. And right after that, we're gonna have another div with the class of map content. And what this one is going to do is this text that is right here in our map, on our map, we're gonna add that, and then the value is gonna be the name, Jacek Jeznack like so, and then we're gonna have a span with the location, which is Poland, and then we're gonna have UL. Let me just copy it. Let me copy the value like so and place it right here. This is very difficult to pronounce, and it's still gonna create another. The same thing here. Yeah. Inside the same span, we just give it the VR tag like so, and inside the same, I'll just grab this one as well. Let me just copy everything and place it right here. I'll delete this. Yeah, I'll delete this. I'll save it. Now I have it formatted, and right under this BR tag, we're still gonna have another span. Okay, still gonna have another span with this text right here, and then with the name of Jacek Jeznack. Let me just copy it and place it right here. Ctrl V, GZ, okay, at gmail.com like so. And now let's see what I've got so far. Yeah, the name, the Poland UI, and the date. You know what? Let's add the BR tag here as well, so that this one will be on another line, like so. And now we got it. Okay. So the next thing for us to do now is to start styling them, which is quite one of the most interesting part. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to our CSS and then scroll down to here after the blog post stylings that we added in our previous tutorial. We are going to add our contact me stylings right under this comment. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna select is the contact form, the contact section rather. I'm gonna select the contact section, just copy it, come back to your CSS, paste what you've got, and now I'm gonna set the width to 85%. The margin is gonna be auto, and then out 0 from top and bottom, and auto from left and right. We're gonna set the mean height to 100 viewport height, and then we're gonna set the display to flags, justify content to the center, align items close to the center, and then the flex direction will be column like so. On small screen, the flex direction will be column, but on bigger screens, we are going to change the direction of this div. Okay, so right after that, we're gonna set the position to relative. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna have to target is the form, but we want to add this margin bottom from the input right here. So we might have to grab this contact heading. Let's grab this contact heading, come back to our style CSS, and then add a margin bottom of about 50 pixels like so. And now we have some space. It's too much. I can reduce it to about 40. Yeah, not bad. Or we can make it 30. Let's make it 30. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So right after that, we might have to select our form input. Okay, let's come back to HTML, grab your form input. Okay, form input group, and go back to CSS. Now add the class name just copied, and then want to set the width of each input to 100%, and then want to set the position to relative as well. Okay, so that is not all. So what we have to do now is to select the input that we have under each form input group, and then the text area. So we might have to select the input and then the text area that we have under this form input group, and then want to set the width of each and every individual input to 100%, as you can see. And now we have height. Yeah, we're gonna have our height of 50 pixel like so, and then we're gonna have the outline in the none. Don't worry about this email, and then the text area. We're gonna amend that a little bit, and then we're gonna have our border. The border should be none. Right after that, we're gonna have our padding from 0 pixel from top and bottom, and 20 pixel from left and right. And now you see how it is right now. And right after that, we're gonna have a margin bottom to all our inputs. Okay, let's have the margin bottom of 5 pixel each. Okay, 5 pixel each, and then we're gonna add family of sans serif. So I have a different family for the text in our input, and then I'm gonna have a font size of 0.975 rem. Yeah, like so. Now we get that. So the next thing that we're gonna have is to target the text area. Okay, from input group, and then we're gonna target the text area. Okay, and now we're gonna add height. I'm gonna change the height of the input to about 25 viewport height. 25 viewport height, and then the padding. What's happening? We have the text area. Okay, the height will be 25 viewport height, and then the padding will be 10 pixels from top and bottom, and 20 pixels from left and right. And currently it's not working. I don't know why. The reason why it's not working, the styling is not working, is because we didn't have this class name. We didn't wrap it around the text area. If you check it out, you see our form input group is not wrapped around the text area, which is not what we wanted. So let's grab the text area, the span, and place it inside the form input group. And now check it out. We have our stylings, which is so cool. Now let's deal with this issue of the stylings. Okay. Now let's go back to our HTML and okay, now check it out. We see this email. The class name we added to this div is not the same as the one we added to this. So instead of from input group, we added input from group, which is not what we wanted. So let's change it around. We have from input then group, and okay, from input and group, like so. Now check it out. We have our input and we have our text messages, and if the height of the input is too big, you can change it around. You make it 40. Yeah, I'll make it 40 like so. So this one is pretty cool. So the next thing that we're gonna add, let's make sure that we style this button as well. So okay, let's add the background color to our input right here. So to do that, we're gonna have a box shadow. Okay, we're gonna have a box shadow. Let's add our box shadow. Okay, and it's gonna take 0 pixel from X and Y axis, like so, and then we have 1000 pixel, and then this color to be, like so, and then one inset, yeah, inset like so. Now check it out. We have this amazing color that beautifies our input right here. And now let's style this button, and then we add the focus effect on the input. So to do that, let's grab the submit button that we added to this button right here. Submit button. Come back to our CSS and now paste the class name we just copied, and now we're just gonna set the background to transparent. We're gonna change the background to transparent, and check it out. So amazing now. And now we have to get rid of the border, and then the outline. The border should be none. The outline should be none as well. The button will float left. Float left, like so. But we have to add display property of block. Add the display property of block, and then we have our font size of 1 rem. I'm sorry, this one is gonna display, it's gonna float right, not left. Now we have our amazing button right here, and then we have our cursor. It's gonna be pointer, and then we have our color. You should take this like grayish color like so, which is 8A, 8.4, and 8.4. Like this. Yeah, this amazing color. It's just gonna take that, and it's amazing. That's cool. That's pretty cool. And now I want to add a focus effect on our input. So, and then we have to change the color of the input as well. So let's change the color of the input. Let's come back here and let's set the color to this color that we just added, 8.4. Yeah, this color is not bad. It's not bad. Okay, so we're cool with that. So let's go back to our HTML, and then I want to show you that we already added a span tag under each input in our HTML. So this input will be the thing that will start to add the focus effect on this input right here. So the first thing that we have to do now is to grab that span element. Okay, we grab that span element by So let's grab this from input class name, and inside this div we have the input element, and we want to add the span. We want to select the span as well, but the span is going to have the stylings of after. Okay, and we're going to have the same thing for the text area as well, because we only select the input right here. Now we want to select the span, and to do that, let's select the form input group with the text area and plus span, which is after. Okay, now save it. Now what we have to do now is to set the width to about 100%. We're gonna set the content is gonna be empty though. Okay, you have to only set the content to empty while you're using the pseudo class before and after. And right after that, we're gonna set the height of the element to 2 pixels. The position will be absolute. We already gave the form input a relative position, so we are good to go. And now we want to add the background color of this color, and then we still have to add bottom of 5 pixels. The left will be 0, and then the transition will be 0. All 0.5 3 seconds, I guess. Should be 0.3 seconds, should be alright. And we're gonna give it a linear like so. So right after that, check it out. We already have this style applicable to our input, which is amazing, but we want that to happen when the input is on focus. So to do that, let's select the form input scope again. Okay, let's select the form input group again, and then set our input. And when it is focused, okay, we want to set the span after. We want to set the width to 100%. Currently the width is already 100%, but now if I change the width back to 0, so when it is focused, then we want to add this class of focus to it. Okay, so we select the form input group, the input focus, and then the span after. The span after plus the span after. Plus the span after, and then I want to set the width back to 100%. Now check it out, and check it out. And because we haven't added the same thing to our text area, so we want to do that as well. We want to select the form input group. We have text area, and then plus focus. Text area, when it is focused, we want to add the span after to this. And now check it out. When I click on this, when it is focused, we added this amazing animation to it. And yeah, so cool. So cool. Now what we have to do now is to add this amazing map to our web page. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do now is to go to Google Map. Okay, let's go to Google Map. So when you go to Google Map, just navigate to your dashboard, and there are different ways to embed a Google Map in your website. There are different ways, but the easiest one that we are going to add is by clicking on this menu icon right here, and then just click on share or embed map. So when you do that, we're gonna embed a map, this map right here in our HTML. Okay, so all we have to do now is to copy all this HTML code that we see right here. You can change the size if you want medium, large, customized, or anything. You can actually select the one that you want. But in order to make everything simple for you guys, we're just gonna embed this map instead of writing punch lines of code for adding a map into our website. So with that being said, now let me minimize it back and go back to our main page. Let's go back to our HTML. Now we already added this iframe tag element, so we just delete everything and paste the one we just copied from Google Map, and check it out. Immediately we added this map right here, we get the result. Okay, we already get the result, and now what we have to do now is to style it and change the font size and every other thing, so that you know, we get the stylings that we wanted. Okay, we get the stylings that we wanted. So with that being said, yeah, let's style it. So what I really want to do now is to remove the inline stylings that they've added, which is the width and the height. Let me just remove it like so. And now, of course, our map is very small right now, and we are gonna change that with CSS. So what we're gonna do now is to select the Google Map. Of course, we have the Google Map right here. Select the Google Map and then the iframe. Okay, and then the iframe like so. And then I set the width to 100%. So it's gonna take the full width of the item, and then we're gonna set the height to about let's say 50, but height for small screens. Yeah, like so. Wait, let me save this. Actually, what we have to do, let's remove this iframe, and let's set the width of this to 100%. Let's remove the height as well, and now let's target the Google Map and then the iframe. Let's set the width to 100%, the width of the map itself, and we're gonna give it a margin top of about 50 pixels, like so, and then the height should be about 60 height, like so. Yeah, now we have our map. So what we have to do now is to add this new content on the map. So set the Google Map position to relative, like so, and now let's work on the map content. So what we have to do on the map content now, let's just select the class name. We have the map content and map content like so, and then I want to set the background color. Let's just go for black for now, and we want to set the color of the text to F3, like so. And after that, we'll have to set the position to absolute. The top will be 70 pixel, and left will be 40 pixel, like so. 40 pixel, like so. I think you might have to set the position relative to the iframe right here. So let's set the position relative to this place. You know what, our map content should supposed to be right on this map, but it's not working either right here. So let's change it around and let's check out our HTML to see what's going on. And oh, now I see. The map content is supposed to be in this div. Okay, so let's just grab the old div map content, let's copy it, and let's come right inside this Google Map div and let's paste it right here. Then we should have our map right here. Okay, so now that's very cool. We should have our map right here, and you know, this is amazing. So now let's style the map content. Okay, let's style the map content. We have padding. Okay, let's add some padding of 20 pixels. Let's add some backdrop filter of blur of about 70%, like so. And now let's add some styling to span. So we're gonna say the map content and then the span that is inside the div. Okay, and then we want to set the font size to about 16 pixel, like so. And then we want to set the margin. So we want to set the margin of 0 from top and bottom. No, we want to set the margin from 5 pixels from top and bottom and 0 from left and right. And then we want to set the line height of 1.5. Or actually, we don't need this margin right here. So let's remove it. And yeah, that's it. Okay, that is basically what we have right now. And if you expand our browser, you see that this thing doesn't look good on big screens. And let's add some media query in order to rectify the issue. So let's scroll down. We have our media query section right here. Okay, so now let's scroll all the way to the bottom, like so. And in here, I've already added the comments. It says section contact, and in here we want to add the media query. So first of all, we want to select the contact wrapper. So we want to select the contact wrapper. Okay, so and basically the contact wrapper is what we've added right here. Okay, we have the contact wrapper. We could also select the contact section, but it doesn't really matter. You can select the contact section as well. And in here we just want to set the main height. The main height is already there, and we want to select the display to grid. We want to select the grid template columns so that we separate both contact form and then the map aside. So we want to select one fraction for both of these contact form and then the map on bigger screens. Okay, and right after that we want to align the items to the center. Okay, let's align the items to the center like so. And after that we want to select the form itself. Okay, the contact form itself. We have the contact form itself, and we want to set the width of all the inputs to 20%, like so. So let's check it out, and then you see what I was talking about. And the next thing that we have to add right now is the input wrapper. I don't know if you remember. Now we have the input wrapper that wraps the input text of name and input text of email, input type of name and input type of email, that wraps both of them together in order to separate them on bigger screens. I don't know if you get what I mean, but you'll see that in action right now. And basically what I really want to do is to select them with the input wrapper, and then we set the display to grid and set the grid template columns to 1 fraction for each, and I'm gonna set the grid column gap, like so, for about 0.77 rand, yeah, like so. And now if we check it out on bigger screens, oh, it's not working, I don't know. We have the input wrapper, let's check it out. Okay, it's form input wrapper, my bad. It's form input wrapper, and now if we check it out, now you can see the input right here, and now we just have to add some space on the left side of our contact form section. So to do that, let me open it back, let me minimize it, and we want to add some space, so we'll have to target the parent element, okay, and add some margin left. So we're gonna have to target the form contact form section and contact section on bigger screens. So we have contact form, and let's increase this to about 85%, and let's set the margin to 0% from the top, 0% from the right, 0% from the bottom, and we want to set the auto from the right, from the left. Rather, we have 0% from the top, from the right, 0% from the bottom, and then we have auto from the left. And now if we check it out, now this is what we got. And what I really want to do now is to increase the width and the height of the map. Okay, I want to set the width of the map, so let me target the Google Map. Let me open it right here. I want to Google Map, and then the iframe like so. I want to set the width to 100%, and then the height to 100 viewport height like so, and let's check it out. And we need to get rid of this space right here. Okay, we need to get rid of this space. Let's target the element, and let's add some stylings to them. Okay, and now let's refactor this code a little bit. Okay, so let's target the contact section that wraps everything together. We want to give it a width of 100%. Okay, 100%, and now we want to set the grid column gap to about 3 rem, like so, or 2.5. Let me reduce it to about 2.5. Okay, 2.5 rem, and here we want to change the contact form width to about 450 pixel, like so, instead of 55 pixel. Now let's check it out, and voila, this is all we got. And let's actually reduce the width. Okay, let's make it 400 pixel. Let's make it 400 pixel and see what we got. And this is pretty much what we got, and it looks a little bit better. If you check out the original website, it's not really different. Okay, it's not really different for me, but at least we got something. And on smaller screen, this is how it looks like. And on bigger screens, we have this. And actually, if you want to add many breakpoints, if you want to add different breakpoints, of course you can do it, but for the sake of simplicity, and we're just gonna add we are not going to add many jQuery breakpoints. Okay, we're just gonna stick with the mobile sites and then the bigger screen. Okay, so basically that's it. And now we have to start working on the functionality or JavaScript functionality. And whenever we click on the button, let me zoom in. Whenever we click on the button, we wanna send this message right here. Okay, I wanna send this message, and if you click on it multiple times, check it out. I'm just gonna do something similar to that, even if it's not the same thing. Okay, so that's basically what we are going to do right now. So let's get started adding the functionality. Now, the next thing that we want to do now is to add functionality to our website. And anytime a user wants to submit the form with empty values in the input, we're going to display some kind of message that the user should fill in the necessary inputs, just like what we have right here. Say we get a message when we want to submit the form with an empty values, so we're going to do something similar to that. And yeah, that is it. And like I said, we're gonna have a bunch of query selectors in our JavaScript, and we're gonna use the class name that we gave each input to select everything. And I believe everything has the class already. Okay, the name doesn't have the class, so we might have to add the class of name as well in order to select it in our JavaScript. So now, with that said, let's have our input. So we're gonna go with const name input equals to document query selector, and then we're gonna select the input with the class of name. Let's copy it a few more times, and then we're gonna paste it, change the name around. And the second one is email input. Yeah, like so. I'm still gonna change this one around. Email. You know what? Let me go with double cursors. So I'll delete this, and this one is subject, I believe, and this one is text area. Yeah, text area. Make sure that there's no box and there's no typo here. So text area, and then we're gonna get rid of this because we have 4 inputs, which is the name, the email, the subject, and then the message. And we have to select the form as well. Okay, we have to select the form in order to prevent the default. So whenever we submit, you see it refreshed, the web page refreshed, and then we don't want that. We want to prevent the default. So we might have to select the form by this class name, contact form. So let's grab that in our JavaScript as well. So we have const contact form is equals to document query selector, and then we have contact form, like so. Okay, now that we have our form, so the next thing is to add an event listener to our contact form. So let's just go with contact form that add event listener, and then we want to add this submit event. So, and then we have our comeback function. We'll just go with arrow function, and in here I'll just pass in my event object, which is event object. And now I want to prevent the default. Okay, I want to prevent the default. So anytime I click on this button, you see my web page will never refresh. Okay, my web page will never refresh, still stay the same, and that is the basic thing that we have to do. And then the next thing now is to create another function called the validate input, and this is the function whereby we will actually select all the input element and add some functionalities to it. And we might have to call the function right here, so just call it validate input and invoke the function with validate, and here also is going to be validate. And let's just add this input. Let's add this input. Okay, yeah, and now we get the same thing. And now we want to add some basic validations to the email and the message as well, because right here Jacek Jeznack said it is very necessary for you to provide your email and your message. Okay, so when you provide your email and message, the form will be submitted, and that is what we're going to do. We're going to validate only the email and then the message, the text area as well. Okay, so what we'll have to do now is to grab those we should create a new variable. Let's go with let email is equals to email input that will create up here. Now the email input that will create up here dot the value. We want to grab the value that the user inputs here, okay, in order to know what to do. So now that we have the value, we still want to go with another one, which is the text area. Text area. And now we want to grab the text area input. We want to grab the text area input like so, and then the value that comes from it. And now we want to check. We want to check if email. We want to check if email and text area like so, and text area is not true. Let's say we're saying the opposite, that we go with this exclamation mark, and we'll say if email and text area is not true. Okay, let's make sure that we add this and operator very well. My bad. Okay, so basically we are saying that if this email and this text area it's not true, which means if user does not provide the email and then the message, we want something to happen. So what do we want to happen? Okay, we want a bunch of things to happen. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do now is to create a function called a error function, and then we want to create the success function. And basically we want to create that error function. Let's just go with error. We want to go with set error like so. This is just a function that we're gonna call in our if statement. Okay, so now that we created this set error, we're gonna pass in some kind of parameters. Okay, so we're gonna pass in some kind of parameters, and then we're gonna invoke the function in our if statement. And likewise, we're gonna have another function called set success. Okay, we're gonna have set success, on which we are going to call as well. But for now, let's just stick with set error, because we are checking if there is any error if the user doesn't input a value in our email inputs and the text area input. We want to send an error message, and the error message will be whatever that comes from this. Okay, I want to set the error to whatever that comes from this. And the first thing that we have to do now is to add the functionality of error in our error function right here. Okay, now all we have to do now is to add a parameter to our set error function. This parameter is going to be called, this parameter is going to target the input that we want. So now I want to check if the input dot class list dot contains dot class list dot contains success, the class that we haven't created yet, but we are going to create this class very shortly. And if it contains success, so what do we want to do? We want to remove input the class list. We want to remove that class list and add something else. Okay, so we're going to say input the class list that add that remove that particular class, which is success. And now we want to set the else if that is not the case, and then we want to add the class of error. So we're going to say class list dot add error. Okay, we're going to create those classes in our CSS very soon. Okay, so that is one thing. So the same thing is applicable to our success function, whereby we pass in a input, and then we say if input that if input that class list that contains if it contains error, okay, we want to remove the error and add the success class. All right, so we want to say input that class list that remove, we are going to remove the error, and else if that's not the case, we are going to add the success class. Okay, the class list that add success. Okay, I hope you're following along. So basically this is what we have to do. Okay, this is what we have to do. And now for us to get started, let's add the class to this let's add a class in our CSS. Okay, so just go back to our CSS, let's go to the top. Okay, so right after the contact form, we're gonna add error and success class. Now let's have our error class. Okay, error, and then we want to target the input, and then the same thing is applicable to the text area, since we want to target text area as well. And now I want to say the border button should be 2 pixel solid red, like so. Let's just add some transition of all 0.2 seconds, and let's go with linear. Okay, the same thing with the success class. So let's go with success, and let's start with the input, and we're gonna have the text area as well. Okay, I'm gonna have the text area as well. Text area, and then we go with the border button with 2 pixel solid, and let's go with our green, and let's also add this transition of just copy it and paste it right here. Okay, so basically that's it. So now let's go back to our HTML, and let's add the class name of error to the div element right here. And now check it out, you can see that the class has been added to the text area input, which is very cool. But we are going to add this dynamically with our JavaScript. So for now, let's just remove it, and let's go back to JavaScript. And now that we have our classes that have been added in our CSS already, now we have to call them here. So now we have the set error input, and remember that we pass in a parameter, and the parameter check if the input has a particular class name. Okay, so in this case we're gonna target the email, which is what we have right here. We're gonna target the email input. We're gonna target the email input. Okay, email input, and then we want to say if the email input dot parent element. Basically, we're saying, okay, check if this input, check the parent element of this input if it has a particular class name. If it does have the class name, then it's gonna have it, just like what we did manually right here. Okay, now the parent element of this input has a class of error, and now it automatically add the stylings to this input. So that is basically what we're saying here. We're saying check if the parent element of this input has a class name. So we've already added the logic here, so whereby we just add the class that contains and success, and here we're just saying, okay, we are talking about the parent element. Okay, and now we're gonna do that for text area as well. So we have text area input dot parent element, and yeah, that's it. And now let's remove what we have right here. Let's remove it and check it out. If I click on this input, on this button, if I click on this button, we're gonna add the class of error in our email and message and text area input. Okay, so check it out. So when I click, I added these stylings in our CSS to the parent element dynamic of the JavaScript. And what we have to do now is to display some kind of message to tell the user what to do. Okay, now we have the class. Okay, fine. Now we want to display the message that, okay, please fill in all the required inputs. So the next thing that we have to do now is to create a function. I want to create a function called show message that we're going to display to the user. And I could probably add it in our set error and set success function, but it's going to contain quite a lot of things, so I wanted to separate the function like that. So what we want to do now is to pass in some kind of parameter. So what we have to do now is to say message. All right, now that we have message here, we want to create some kind of div in our HTML to show the message. Okay, we can just come right under this form. I guess you can just come right here. Let's hide it. Let's hide it here. Okay, I'm just gonna say message, and it's just going to be an empty div. It's not gonna have a value, but in our stylings we might have to add some stylings to it. Okay, so let's add some stylings basically in our CSS. Just come and target the message, add a class, and in here we add some stylings, like I said. But it's gonna have the position of absolute. The top will be about 500 pixel, and right will be 0. Right will be 0, and then we wanna add transition of about all 0.3 seconds, and we wanna add is in out. Okay, 0.3 seconds is in out, like so. If I had some kind of width of 100 pixel and background red and height of about 50 pixel, you should see something right here. Okay, you should see what I mean right here. But we are not adding this thing right here. We are not adding it. It's just a parent element. Okay, it's just a parent element, and we are going to add whatever I want to add in JavaScript. Okay, So for now, I want you to go back to your JavaScript, and in here we want to create, let's just call it, want to create a variable called div content, and in here it's just gonna be, we're just gonna create a new element. So I want to say document.create element, and the element that we want to create is called div. Okay, so now we want to set the div content dot text content to be equal the message. All right, so we want to add some kind of class to this div content right here, but for now, oops, let me make sure I spell it very well. Message. Now we are going to add some stylings to this div content, but for now let's just stick with what we have right now. Okay, so now I want to select this message. I want to select this class that we just created, which is message. I want to select it in my JavaScript, and to do that, let me just come right here and just say const document message div is equals to document dot query selector, and then we want to select that message right here, like that. So message, and now we want to append this new element that we create. We want to append it to our message div right here. Okay, you just say message div dot append. Okay, we want to append what? We want to append the div content into our HTML. Okay, we want to append the div content to our HTML, and now we want to prepend, not append. I don't know what's going on with me these days. So we want to prepend this element into our message div, and now what we have to do is to add some classes. Okay, we add some classes to this div right here. Okay, so let's just create it already. So let's just say div content dot class list dot add, let's call the class list div content. Okay, div content or message content or whatever. Okay, message content. Yeah, you can just add message content, and in our CSS we're gonna create the class of message content, and in here we're gonna have some couple of CSS styles. It's gonna have some padding of about say 15 pixels. Okay, let's add some background of red, and let's add color. The color of the text will be white, like so, and then we're gonna have opacity. Let's add opacity of 1, and we're gonna have a transition of opacity, and the duration is gonna be 550 milliseconds, and then let's just add easing out. Okay, and then let's set the margin button, because we're gonna have a lot of message showing up if the user keeps clicking on the button several times, and then we want to add some kind of margin in the bottom. Okay, so we're gonna say margin bottom about 5 pixels, like so. Okay, we're gonna have 5 pixels like so, and we still want to hide this if it takes about 5 seconds to show up. We want to hide this, so we're just gonna go for div content. Okay, it's message content dot hide. We want to add this class in order to make the message disappear. okay, which is 0%. Right now, it's not there. We're just gonna add it dynamically in our JavaScript. And what we have to do now is to go back to our JavaScript and add the class. We've already added the class. Which is approximately 5 seconds. And in here, we basically what we want to do now is to add the class of height that we just created in our CSS. We want to add it that after 5 seconds we want to add that class so that the message will disappear. Okay, and actually we forgot to add a transform property. Transform translate 100% and 50% on the X and Y axis. Okay, we forgot to add that, and we still have to add transition of all 0.3 seconds linear, like so. And yeah, let's add this. And inside our JavaScript, okay, we will have to call this function. Okay, we have to call this function in our input, like so. Just say show message, and in here just passing please fill in the required input, like so. Okay, this is the message, and when we click, you see some kind of message right here, but we have to take care of that. We have to make sure that we take care of that. When you want to add some transform. Let's go with our template string and let's go for translate. And in here we are going for the $sign for literal template. And in here we just want to pass both value to 0, 0, and then add our percentage at the end right here. Okay, so now when we click, now you can see this message that pops up right here, which is very cool. And anytime we click, we'll get the same thing. Anytime we click, we get the same thing. But notice right now that the messages are going downwards, and I wanted to make sure that it goes upward. And let's go back to our style message, and let's set the flex direction to column reverse. Let's set the flex direction to column reverse. Let me refresh the web page, and anytime I click, it should go up. Okay, wait, let's check it out. What's going on? Oh my bad, I haven't added the display flex property, so I just go with display and now flex, and I'm gonna refresh. And now anytime I click, it should go up. I don't know what happened. You know what, let's switch this around. Let's switch this top to bottom. Let's see what we got. And yeah, that's so cool. But right now you realize that the messages are not disappearing. They're still the same. They're still on the same place. So this is where the set timeout comes in. Okay, so we want to add this functionality whereby when it takes about 5 seconds, we want to remove that element in our JavaScript. So what we're going for is that we're gonna use the event listener called transition end. The event listener called transition end. So when it takes about 5 seconds, we're gonna add that class. So what we have to do now is to target this div content. Okay, let's copy and paste div content dot class list dot add, And now I'm gonna add the id class that we created earlier on in our CSS. Okay, so the id class that we create is gonna add it to it, and we're gonna set the opacity of that div to 0. And that is one thing. So another thing that we want to do now is that well, let me just showcase what we have right here. Okay, let's just go with it, and after 5 seconds it will disappear. Okay, it will disappear. But the fact is that if you go to our console right now, and then we click on this item, and then we'll go to our element, we target the element, and right now you realize that we have a bunch of messages in our contact section. Okay, especially in the message section, we have a bunch of fill in the input, fill in the input, fill in the input, which doesn't make any sense. So we have to remove it, because every time we click on it, it's just gonna add that item, which it doesn't make any sense. We have to remove it, and to do that, we're gonna use a transition end. Okay, we're gonna use a transition end. So we're gonna say div content that add event listener. I'm gonna go for transition end, like so, and then we have our callback function. And in here, we wanna remove that class of div content that we added. Okay, we want to remove it, so we just say div content to remove the class of this message that we have right here. Just gonna remove everything. Okay, so now if we go back to our console, let's go back to our console, and let's target the message form, and in here let's grab the message that we're getting back. And anytime I click on this, check it out, we have a message. It will disappear after 5 seconds, and we won't be able to see that message in here anymore. So even if I add as many messages as I can, and after some seconds everything will disappear. Can you see? Which is so cool. So now we have a bunch of unnecessary elements appearing on our web page. Okay, so that is one thing I want you to note. And so what we have to do now is to go back to our if statement, and this is just if both of these inputs are empty. Okay, what if the user also inputs the email and this one is blank, or if the text area is blank and this email input is not valid? So what we have to do now is to check for another else if statement. Error message, and it's gonna target the email input, and you want to add the class name already, and then we still want to change the message that we get. Okay, we're gonna change the message, and then we're just gonna say show message, and then we want to pass in email can't be empty, like so. So that is another statement. And if we try to add some value right here, hello everyone, and then we try to submit. What is going on? If you add some value right here, I don't think there's any issue, but let's check it out again. Oh, now we get the value. So email can be empty, and now every time I click, check it out, and After 5 seconds, everything will disappear one after the other, which is so cool. Now we've checked for the text area, and now we have to check for the email as well. What if the user inputs an email address at gmail.com without providing the text input? So we want to validate that as well. So what we have to do now is to go to our validate input and check if, or let's say as if text area is not empty and email is true. Okay, what if the user inputs the email address but it didn't input the message? It didn't provide any message, so we want to check that as well. So to do that, we're gonna call our set error, and then we want to pass in text area input dot period element, so that we add the class of error to it, and then we're gonna show message, and in here we're just gonna say please provide a message. Okay, so now if I add my email address, let's say I add my email address like so, we might still have to change the text right here, so we'll do that later. And if I had my email address without providing any message, check it out, I have please provide a message, which is so cool. So let's keep digging in, and let's check for another possible value. Now this is just basic validation. There is a lot of things we can do here. There is a lot of old things for us to do here, and in here I just want to check if the email and the text area is finally true. If the user provides those inputs, okay, if the user provides those inputs, like that, what's going on? Let me delete. Okay, I go as if email and and text area is finally true. What if both of them, if the user provides both of the inputs? So what do we want to do? Instead of calling the set error function, in here we're just gonna call the set success function. We're just gonna set the set success function, and in here we'll pass in the email input of parent element, set success. We have set success to text area input dot parent element, and we wanna pass in some kind of message. So let's say show message, and in here we're just gonna say message sent successfully. Okay, so now let's provide some kind of value to both inputs. So let's go with almarexwebdev@gmail.com, and inside our input let's say hello everyone like so. And if I submit this form, check it out, message sent successfully. But it doesn't make sense to send the message and get this background, the red background as success message. And in here we just have to make sure that the inputs are no longer there. So what we have to do now is to say, let's go back to our message, and in here we're just gonna pass in second parameter, which is update. We want to update the color like so. And what do we want to do? We want to target this div class. We want to say div content dot style dot background color, and then we want to set the background color equals to update color. Okay, We want to set the background color equals to update color. And now we can, check this. We can pass in the second parameter to this function right here. After saying after showing the message, we can just pass in the color that we want to update it to, which is equals to green. And now if I provide some kind of value, hello there, now check it out, you have some kind of message, and that is very, very, very cool. And now I want to get rid of all the value that the user provides when the form has been submitted. So what we have to do now is to say, okay, you know what, when the message is sent successfully, we want to call on the text input dot value. We want to set it back to empty string. The email input as well, the email input dot value, we want to set it to an empty string. The same thing with the name input dot value is going to be equals to an empty string, and it remains the subject input dot value is going to be equals to an empty string. Okay, so that is basically it. Now what we have to do now is to provide some kind of value to hello there, welcome to the new world. And whenever I send this message, check it out, now get rid of all the input value that we have in our input, which is so cool. And the question now is that, how can I receive those messages? How am I going to receive those messages if any user send me a message? That is where we are going to use this something called email.js. And basically what email.js is all about is just a platform that enables you to receive messages from your website. And basically for us to get started, we have to visit their official website. And when you visit your official website, you will see all this thing right here. And the best place to get started for a beginner is just to visit the documentation, and that's what we're gonna do. And like I said, in here we're gonna start with the installation. And if you want to use it with React or Vue or any other JavaScript library, you'll have to go with npm install and then the name of email.js, of course. But we want to link this particular item to our JavaScript, okay? And we want to link this to our JavaScript, and all we have to do is just to grab this code right here, the link to email.js library. So we just have to grab it, and let's come down to our Java HTML file, and let's paste it on top of our index.js. And after that, let's go back to the platform. And before we actually get started, we need to create an account. And I already have an account, but if you don't have an account, you can sign up. It's super easy. Just have to input your name and email, and I think that's all. But in my own case, I just want to sign in because I already have an account. Like I said, I'm just going to sign in. And when you sign into your account, you will be directed to this dashboard, okay? You'll be directed to this dashboard, and the first thing that I really want you to do is to add a new service, okay? When you add a new service, you click on Gmail, and of course, you can connect your account to whichever account you want to receive your messages from. And I'm just going to click on the first account that I have right here. So after that, I just have to enable them to have access to my account, and after that I'll just click on create service. So when that is done, then I'll be given a specific service ID that we're going to make use of very soon. And the next thing that I really want to do now is to create a new template. So just come to this place and create a new template. So after that, we have the default options of what to do in here, but in my case I just want to add subject. This I want to add subject, and this one is just coming from the input from my input in my HTML. Of course, you know what I mean in a second. And in here I just want to add the subject, and I'll go with 3 curly brackets like so. And in here I wanna okay, let me just delete everything. I wanna add 3 curly bracket like so, and I'll just pass in my name like so, the name that is coming from the input. And in here I wanna say you got a new message from, and then I'll pass in the email coming from my input, like I said, and it's gonna have these 3 curly bracket as well. And right here as well is gonna target the message coming from my input, and I'll show you what that means in a second. And you can delete this, and the next thing that I want you to do is to save, so make sure you save. Yeah, the template has been added successfully, and if you want to test it, you can just test it right here, but we don't have to. It's all cool. So what we have to do right now is to go back to the documentation, and let's go to email JS or send form. And the basic things that we ask to do is to provide the service ID, the template ID, and then the template parameters, like I said. Okay, and after that, let's grab it. Let's grab all this, and there's another way to do it as well, but this is what we're gonna go for. Okay, and let's go back to our JavaScript, and we want to send this form if the email and the text area, if they are both true. I mean, if the users have provided some kind of value in our input right here. So I'm just gonna paste everything in like so. So after that, we have to get the service ID that we are getting back from the images, template ID, template parameters, and the public key. So let's do that. Let's go back to our dashboard, and let's go back to our let's go back to our email service, and in here you can see the service ID. Okay, so we can just copy service ID and go back to our JavaScript, and instead of writing this, we just paste it right here. Okay, so it's a string. If you read the documentation, you realize that they are requesting for a string, you understand, which is service ID. It's a string, and that's what we have to provide. And the next thing that we have to provide is our email template, which is the template ID. So what we have to do now is to copy this template ID like so. Just copy it, find a way to copy it, and let's go back to our JavaScript, and let's replace this template ID with a string we just copied in here. And the third parameter is the template params, and basically it says that anything that is coming from our input, okay, anything that is coming from our input, it could be a string, it could be a query selector, and in our case it's already a query selector. We've selected the input, our contact form. Okay, we've selected our contact form in from our HTML like so. Okay, we've selected our contact form, so we will just use the variable as the third parameter that email.js is requesting from us. So we just pass in the contact form, and then the last parameter is required, of course. And what is required is the public key, and the place where we can get the public key is on our dashboard, of course, where you can go to your account, and when you go to your account dashboard, and now you can copy this string as well. This is our public key that we're going to use as well. And let's delete this one right here, and replace it with this public key that we just copied. Okay, so now we can save. And basically in our email template, we added subject in 3 curly brackets, and then the name, and then the email, and the message. And basically what that means is that all that inputs, all that curly brackets and the value that we provided inside them will replace all the names that have been given to our input right here. Okay, we have the text area with the name of message that we provided right there. We have the name of email for our email input. The same thing is applicable with our name, and then just make sure that we've added that to the subject as well. So where is it? The subject. Okay, let's add it. Let's add name. It's gonna be subject, like so. And yeah, after that, if we try to submit the form, it should definitely work. And only if this one is true, then we'll be able to submit the form, and then we'll be able to receive a mail from email.js in our Gmail account that a user has already sent a message. So let's try it out. Let's go with good job, and with a message, just gonna provide please submit. Okay, just gonna provide. All right, that's cool. Just anything. Okay, so we're gonna send it. Now receive message sent successfully, and then we're gonna have to go back to our email account. Okay, and then we have to refresh. Now check it out. We have the name that we added, and then we got a new message from this also, and the message from the body, which is alright, that's cool. And basically that's how we can validate our input, and that's basically on how we can validate input and receive message through email.js, which is so amazing and so cool. And with that being said, I think we have finally come to an end of our project so far, and I hope you enjoy it so far, even if it's not that great. I hope I actually did something to help you guys in order to get better in your programming skills as well. And yeah, I hope you will succeed. Okay, so this is the end of the video, and yeah, I hope to see you in the next